Hey guys, can I ever not do an intro to a video in my bathroom? No. But anyways, I am getting ready to go to my family's Thanksgiving. Crazy. I know. I'm amazed too. But I am. Hashtag blessed. So super excited. I already had my Friendsgiving. That was so much fun. I am honestly like, I wanted to make a video where I just like talk about like what I'm grateful about in life, because I know I do that all the time and I'm kind of like a broken soapbox, but like I really am. I'm so grateful and like so blessed to have everything I have in my life. Like, even though I have no money in my account, I'm drowning in debt and mental health issues, and I'm in like a really crappy apartment. I'm still grateful. I'm just funny with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just silly. I'm just funny. I think joking about things makes it easier for us to get through them. So if I want to joke about how crappy my apartment is, or the fact that I've gnats in here, even though it's the dead of winter and I bleach everything, you just can't control that when other people let the gnats in. You know what I mean? Like, it's just life. Like, you can't control everything about life, and that's really hard for me because I'm a little bit of a control freak in my own way. And I really struggle with like things not working out exactly how I plan them out in my head every single night before I go to bed. But nonetheless, I'm gonna get ready. I'm probably gonna do it in my bedroom because just in here is too much. I hate being in my home. But specifically my bathroom. It's just, there's a lot going on in here. It's so small. It really is giving Carrie like Bradshaw energy, because like I have the tiniest effing bathroom in the world. It's like I live in New York. Listen to this. That's my tub. The door doesn't get any wider than this. Anyways, so grateful, blessed, happy. I hate Thanksgiving, but the holidays, just this time of year, is just a really good time to like remind myself of that and like how far I've come. So let me change out of my, I do have a Family Guy t-shirt on underneath this and a pair of Barbie shorts. So like it's a vibes. Like, let me change. But also my skin is glowing. Wow. Oh my God. I'm like, I woke up this morning, I'm like, this is what washing your face does, friends. Let me get dressed and then get set up. I don't know what the setup's gonna be. If you make fun of the fact I'm sitting on my bed with a ring light, you'll be blocked. Period. You'll be blocked. I don't care. I live to be comfy. I live to be comfy. Okay. Anyways, let me get dressed and we can start talking. Wow. Yeah, definitely a cuter setup than normal. But yeah, so I already did my primer and all that. Oh my God, this is a reminder to myself to please switch it to introverted, because this angle's not giving. This is my cat, Zena Bina. But honey, I'm doing a makeup vlog, so if you can sit here, that'd be awesome. Okay, I already got some sort of makeup substance on my bed. I don't even know if we're gonna do lashes today. Also, I made the mistake, and it is a mistake. You guys know what I do my makeup like on a regular basis, of buying brown mascara. So now I'm trying to convince myself I like it. Don't say anything about it, please. This video is about positivity. Okay. Anyways, so I also Ice, sponsored by Kevin for my birthday. Shout out. I thought I would honestly just talk a little bit about like what my life has like been like up to this point, because honestly, like, the change is drastic, like crazy. And I don't like, I normally like wake up, I get really mad because it's Thanksgiving, I like sit around the house, cry, eat a bunch of leftovers, like feel like absolute garbage. Like, I really have always had like a distaste for this day, because like honestly, like, I've had some pretty negative experiences. And like, we're not gonna get into them because it's not a time to dwell on that. Not that any time really is, but it's just like, it's just irrelevant to where I'm at in my life now. But like, the memory of that I've held within me, whether I was wanting to acknowledge that or not, really has affected like my view of just holidays, birthdays, special moments, you know, like graduating, like moments like that, like I find that there's always like a hole in my heart. Like there's something missing. It feels like when you leave your house and you forget your keys and you just have that gut feeling after you shut your door. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like. Like I'm gonna turn around and something I've been missing is there, because it's Christmas, or because it's I graduated, or I did this, or I did that. You know, like I always feel like something in the universe is gonna tell these people that should be my family. And I'm not talking about my grandparents and my aunt and people like that. Like I'm talking about like an entire family of people that have chosen to just like radio silence after causing me like a horrific childhood. Like that's all I'm gonna say about my childhood. You know what I mean? Like I had some amazing moments, amazing experiences, wonderful people, especially the people who picked up the pieces afterwards and during. Like honestly, God bless you, because I was such a mess. Like I really was. Like you would not believe I am that person. Truly. It's like these people caused me to have such a pain that I just wanted to share it and let people know that I was feeling it. But the only way I could really think to do that in my unhealed brain is to like hurt. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean like I was going around like cheating, lying, stealing. Baby, I was sober. I've been sober. But like, it doesn't mean I was a nice person. It means I was completely avoiding the family I did have, wanting me to be around. You know, like it meant me treating everyone else like shit that I ran into on a holiday for no fucking reason. Just be nice. Just be nice. You have no idea what somebody's going through. You have no idea if it's their first holiday without someone. I know I sound like a parent right now, but seriously, it's not just because I work with kids all day. Like, you have no idea whether that person has been divorced, broken up with, lost someone in any sense of the word, lost an animal, like been assaulted, like gone through something terrible, lost their home. You have no idea. Because there's something that happens to us as a society when it comes to this time of year where no matter what is going on, we can appreciate that there are good things happening on certain days, and certain days are reserved for good things to happen. Like, the older I get, the more I realize the holiday may not be how I want it or picture it to be ever. My absolute dream is to be surrounded by love and joy and community and family, and to like have kids and like the perfect partner who I'm married to, and like my grandparents are there and like my friends are there and like we're all singing Kumbaya, right? And then I stop off at work because I'm like obsessed with work still, and still like, hey guys, you know, doing the damn thing, right? Like that's obviously my perfect idea. Is that how it's ever gonna be? I don't think so. Not in some nihilistic, like nothing's ever good enough type of way. It's just, I have to accept things for how they are and still find gratitude in that. Like, that is my responsibility for myself. That is no one else's, to pick something good up out of the pile of shit that my situation is sometimes. It is nobody else's responsibility but mine, because that doesn't keep them going. That doesn't help them. That doesn't really teach them anything. It doesn't apply. All of that is about you. Nobody is going to be the bigger advocate for you than you. No one is going to come in and save you but you. You have lots of people that come along, you know, along the way and like help you. And like I said, like I could not be more grateful. A lot of my parents' friends, a lot of just my friends and their parents in general, I would not have made it through some of the situations I did if I did not have you guys. Like, seriously. you know, like to be raised by everybody but your own parents. And I'm okay with saying that right now at this point in my life is a difficult experience. But in a way, it is such a blessing because I am able to see the world from such a different perspective that it opens me up to a lot more things. But let me round this about. It closes me off sometimes, and I've noticed this, to that perspective. And I'm not talking of a two-parent perfect household where everything is la-di-da and everyone is happy. I'm talking about just somebody's idea of a family that has nice get-togethers and tells each other happy birthday, and that says I love you, and shows up to things, and supports each other through the tough times. And when someone is hurting or in trouble, you get together and you figure it out. Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's closed me off to even attempting to understand that, which is such a closed-minded thing and kind of a cruel thing, to be honest, in my opinion. When I am told things like by my friends about like them and their family, or like them and their siblings that are super close, which, don't get me wrong, I love my siblings, we are very close, but it's a different type of relationship we have compared to most siblings, you know what I mean? It's like, I used to get so jealous and so resentful that I would never accept like any sort of like possibility that that was even real, you know? To me, like, I've always been taught, like, there's always something bad about to happen. There's always something lurking behind the surface. Like, nobody can ever truly be happy, right? Like, the amount of times I've heard that in my life as a child, that like no one is ever really happy, everything is a lie, it fucks with your head. And so when I hear those things from my friends or from my coworkers, whoever, and I'm just a total bitch because I can't comprehend it, that needs to change, you know? Something in me said that needs to change, and like, it's changing. It's changing, y'all. And it's not because I'm with someone. It's not because I'm having a kid. It's none of that. Like, I still don't have these things I want, but it's changing nonetheless because I'm changing as a person. And I know we have mixed feelings about Nietzsche on the internet because a lot of you guys don't really have a brain. And it's really hard for you to like not just sheepishly repeat the same things you read on Reddit over and over and hear on a YouTube channel. But I believe in taking what resonates and leaving the rest. Controversial, I know. Like, your morals and values need to be constantly evolving and growing, as do you as a person. Like, it's important. I you know, like, the older I get, the more I care less about the question and more about how I got to the question and everything surrounding it. I don't care about the answer. Really. If you think about it, like those big questions I have, like, why am I here? I'm more interested in the evidence than I am the answer. It's bizarre, I'm telling you. Like, I don't know. Something has been really different about this year. And maybe it's that I'm learning to become more independent. Never in my life did I think, I just texted my girlfriends this, right? Like, I said, never in my life did I think I would have this much fun in life. Like, when I was a little kid, everyone laughed at me for saying this on Friendsgiving, but it's so true. Like, I literally, y'all, I would get on my knees before bed every night and pray that I would have friends like this, that I would have a life just like this. And people think it's funny because I don't necessarily, if you looked at my life, like, I don't necessarily have the best setup or whatever, but like, who would have ever imagined I'd be living on my own, in my own place, with my own car sitting right outside, my fucking diamond bracelet, my cat, my dog, my friends texting me back like instantly, like wonderful relationships in my life. I am not in an unhealthy like romantic relationship. I'm not like homeless, living outside. I'm not starving. You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of things to be grateful for. I really do. I'm sober also, and like, to remain sober through anything really is honestly, it's a gift. It is, and we're not promised it every day. Sobriety is, I could talk forever on that. It's just like, it's sad to me that a lot of the recovery rooms I've been in any form have been really predatory and really unwelcoming, and just an unsafe environment. Like, it's really unfortunate, but it didn't stop me from staying sober. It hasn't stopped me from believing in the things that I heard in those meetings and continuing to read the literature and practice recovery. Not, not white knuckling it, not just not drinking. I'm sober. My spiritual life has also done a 180. You know what I mean? Like, when I started out on this, I hate the word journey. I feel like it's so like, you know what I mean? But like, really it is. It's a journey. When I started off, I was 16 years old, sitting in rehab, and terrified. I remember being told, like, this is the worst thing you've ever done to your family. Like, nothing is ever going to be the same. No one will ever forgive you for getting to this point. How dare you? All these things. And I was too drunk to sign the paper to check myself in, so I needed help. It didn't really register, obviously, till I got out and I got some real recovery time in. But like, the people I met along the way saved my life, and they've saved it many times over without even being there. Like, when I think back to that, my tiny little room, it's motel style, because it used to be an old motel. So I remember, like, the rooms would get really, really cold at night, and you can hear the traffic. It's kind of a busy road, and it would be really, really dark in there, and all we had was this old little radio, and we listened to this old little radio together, and sometimes we'd listen to, like, NPR if we could get it, or like, talk shows to try and go to sleep, because it was hard to go to sleep with the silence. But I remember talking to those girls until 3-4 in the morning, and just hearing like everything they've experienced in life and where they were even in that moment, having weeks of not using, was like a miracle. And I was just talking about this too at Friendsgiving. Like, to me, any amount of clean time is amazing. To me, any amount of progress and growth and joy in your life is a miracle. I will tell you that. I'm hesitant to say it because it just sounds so stupid, but like, that's the life I came from. That's the life I came from, if there's anything to say about it. And I don't care if it's corny. I really don't. you just have to come from something like that or witness something like that, have an experience like that to understand that perspective. And in a way, I'm kind of lucky that all this crazy shit happened to me. I used to write like about it when I was little. And I mean little, like in middle school, high school, fucking, you know, like all my English teachers loved me. And then I remember they'd always ask me to write about something personal, and I'd write about something personal, but it personally probably shouldn't have been shared. And I remember the change in our relationship, the change in the way they saw me when they found out that those things happened. You know, like, I don't like that. I still don't like it. It still makes me feel gross, and it still makes me feel like a scared little kid. You know, it feels like pity, even when it's not. You know, people that love you don't want to, obviously they don't want fucked up shit to have happened to you. I learned that, but I think that's a big hesitation to really like fully go into detail or explain things to people anymore, because I don't want them to pity me. I don't want them to see me as that. I want them to see me as what I've become. But then again, like, the flip side to that is like, I do think like you kind of have to credit yourself and acknowledge where you came from and what you've been through in order to be fully appreciated for who you are. Maybe not to other people, but at least to yourself. Like, acceptance therapy is my least favorite therapy by far. It's stupid. I don't like it. I'm not a huge fan, but that's just me. I'm not a therapist. What the fuck do I know? But yeah, and I think y'all can understand why I'm not a huge fan. But really, I think that I'm at a point now in my life where the things I've come to accept, and the things that I've handled with grace this year, is pretty astronomical. My reaction to these same exact things happening, because that's a big thing in my life, is the same things happening over and over until I learn that lesson. 2 years ago was madness. It was madness. It was crazy. I was crazy. Like, I would not have been able to handle these same situations 2 years ago, and I didn't, and that was proven. So, but that hasn't stopped me from taking it head on now. I had, God, I can't talk about this one for very long because I will get actually emotional. I had multiple animals pass away this year. Oh my God. It was terrible. It was very tragic multiple times, like crazy, fucked up, not even accident. My dog was attacked and unalived by another dog. 2 dogs, actually. And it was this whole thing. And you guys know, she's a huge German Shepherd, like pushing 140 pounds, like the sweetest thing you've ever met. Just my baby. I've had her since she was like 8 weeks old. I loved Hazel. I still love Hazel. Yeah, but I also had both of my rats pass away. Also had both of them since they were babies. Teacup, I picked out from a friend who's no longer a friend. Out of all his siblings, that was the one I wanted. He was crazy. He was in the dashboard of a car for 2 days because he decided to crawl in there, and then he just came out and was fine. I love Teacup. Was a menace. He would just come in and out of his cage whenever he wanted, because he was just that smart. He just did whatever. Luna, I vividly remember picking him up at the pet shop. He was like like $1 or something, like so cheap, and they're just like, here you go, here's your rat. And I named him Luna, and everyone's like, that's a girl's name. And his entire life I had to be like, it means moon, but okay. I don't know what's getting femme about moon, but like, he was my little Luna. He was my little love bug. He loved diving for peas. He loved getting in the bathtub. He was a good boy. And like, I'm really glad that like the memory of them makes me as happy as it does sad now, you know, because before it was just a lot of sadness. Some days it's still hard to get out of bed. Like, my pets are kind of my purpose for living a lot of the time. When I feel like I don't have one, I know I have my pets. They're just a constant in my life when a lot of times people have not been. And I hate when people tell you, like, as soon as something happens, you're like, well, you know, going into it that they don't live as long as you. And I know that. We all know that. But when you own pets, you don't care. You don't care. The amount of love they can give you and show you in such a short amount of time, insurmountable. And Goose will be around to walk me down that aisle and be there when I give birth. He will. I will figure out how to cure being unalived by then. You can count on that. But no, I mean, okay, so here's an example. We can tie this in. I guess we're talking a lot about childhood. But when I was little, let me check the time. Hurry up. Okay. When I was little, I struggled with empathy. I really did. I was very confused on what healthy relationships were in any sense. It didn't really make friends. I was just very unsociable, like, which I think may shock people, but I'm like, really the only people I got along with and interacted with were adults. So obviously that led to some unhealthy relationships later on. But anyways, it was hard. It was hard. I just could not understand people loving each other. That was such a wild concept to me. And I know this sounds crazy, but I did not get it. I was like, what is the hype? Like, what is going on here? So like, the first thing that ever really taught me how to love were like my animals. Like, so serious. Like, I think back to the first animals I ever had, which my biological father, whatever, you know, he had a lot of animals when I was growing up, because, you know, we can't even get into it. But he had a lot of animals when I was growing up. We always had animals around, and I think back to them, and like, they were my light in that house. You know, that was like to me, like, looking back, I'm like, that's a house of horrors. It's like giving that Rob Zombie, like, I'm like, oh my God. But I always had them to look forward to, rain or shine, you know what I mean? Like, I had my animals. Like, I was a very lonely child. I was quite isolated, and if I didn't have, you know, my little kids to look after and that purpose, I truly believe I never would have learned how to carry that characteristic out into people and like the real world. Like, and that may be a bold thing to say, I don't really care, it's true. Like, if I didn't have my animals, there's no way I would have been able to learn about like empathy and love and kindness and unconditional love at that, because you know, I struggled. I really did. And I just feel blessed that people are always like, well, kids and animals love you. And I'm like, well, it's because they get it. They get it. Because through everything, you may not love or want to be there with the person that's hurting you, but there's always a little bit of hope that it will change or that this person will be different. I don't know. And there was a lot of that for me growing up. Like, there was a lot of like, man, you know, maybe someday like things will be different, and they just weren't. But now, with that removed from the equation, I find that hole slowly but surely like gets filled in my life. Like, people walk in one by one to put a little piece back in there and stop it from hurting so much. And it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Like, the coincidences, I don't know. It's insane. Like, the things I've experienced and the people I've run into, and it can't just all be a coincidence. Like, I truly believe that. I don't even need to explain it. That's how much I can just like feel it. Like, it's I'm just really lucky. I'm really lucky. So I'll give you a little example. One of my best friends in the whole world, my best friend in the whole world, is Kevin. We've known each other for over 6 years, I think like 7 years. I don't know, a very long time since we were very little together, doing community theater for children, if that says anything to you about how we turned out in life. Yeah, so that was our little niche, our little 1-2. When we were little, we kind of ate with it. Whatever. Him and I started like talking and becoming like really close. I just called him because like I don't want to bring it up on here because I know if I do, it will happen again, because that's how terrible people are, and I just don't want to relive that because, like, mind your business. Fuck you, if you participated in that. Something happened in my family that really, like, I had nothing to do with. I couldn't control. No one could have controlled. It just happened, right? And it got shared on Facebook, and everybody was tagging me in it and laughing about it and talking to me about it. And I am just a child. There's no way a child has control over these things. I've been to enough therapy to know that. Okay, and it wasn't even like some horrendous thing. Dial it back. We're supposed to be grateful. Anyways, yeah. So everyone was sharing this thing on Facebook about a family member that I was very close to and literally had just seen, which was craziness. He pulled out of my driveway and then did that. But anyways, I called Kevin sobbing because every single one of my friends, almost, was making fun of me and tagging me in this article on Facebook, with this picture of this individual that obviously was not a very good picture. And I was very embarrassed and like very hurt because like I knew people didn't like me in high school. A lot of people were quite mean to me, if I have to say so myself. Yet quite a few of them still like creep on my profiles and like view my story, and I'm just kind of like, do you feel bad or like what's going I don't know. I have weird feelings about that. But so I called Kevin because I didn't really know who else to call. All my friends were kind of participating in this behavior or just not wanting to talk to me because, like, he wants to talk to the kid that's, you know, that whose family member did this crazy thing. Right. And, like, to be fair, we were all kids, so I get it, but not really. And I just remember, like, after that phone call, like, it was just on. Like, we were just best friends after that. Like, I've never had someone just, like, let me call them up and tell them all this crazy shit and not treat me like a crazy bitch. Like, really, like, especially at that time in my life, like, you know, there was a lot more going on under the surface, and I had been through some, like, horrendous things, and obviously kids don't really know how to react to that kind of stuff when you tell them, like, oh, this crazy thing happened to me, but you're in 9th fucking grade. They're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna tell my mom and get you committed. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but, like, he didn't, because Kevin gets it. Like, he gets it. We're super similar in a lot of ways, and I think that, like, so this is where the story is coming a roundabout, right? Again, I love that word, roundabout. I had an Uncle Kevin when I was younger, a great Uncle Kevin, and I truly loved him, and we were very similar in a lot of ways, and we are now, and it was a devastating tragedy and loss that took him away from us. Yeah, and at that point in my life, like, I just couldn't really comprehend, you know, and that was something I didn't start to grieve till I was, like, much older, and something I've never really ever talked about or gone into detail with anyone that I've ever, like, dated or really been friends with. Just a few of my very close, like, people I'll talk to about it. But yeah, and when I tell you my Kevin is, like, almost carbon copy, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm telling you, every man I've ever met named Kevin, I immediately love. Like, we're immediately friends. It's just, like, it's things like that where I'm like, you're still, like, here. Like, you're still here. And I'm too dumb to explain it. I was talking to Megan about this the other night, but, like, when you pass away, literally, like, the atoms and the energy and, like, those things making up your physical body are expanded back into the world, into, like, the universe, whatever, like, the earth. They are still here. Like, it's so hard to explain. I don't think I can really do it justice, but, like, they are. And it's crazy. It's crazy that, like, these experiences happen in your life, and, like, until you're older, I feel like you don't know. You don't truly know, like, the magnitude of it all. And, you know, never did Kevin and I ever think that, well, we probably did because we're crazy. But, like, you know, never did I ever think that, like, my life could be so good, guys. Like, it could be so good. And it could be that way because it was meant to be that way from the start. You know, I don't think I said it in my last video where I was, like, sobbing and crying and throwing up, you know, in my McLovin shirt in my bathroom. But I don't think we're put here to suffer. I don't think the point of life, I don't think you need to suffer to gain knowledge or whatever the hell people think. I think it is a natural part of most people's lives, no matter how privileged you are, what experience you live through. Everybody has their own perceptions, and everybody suffers in their own, like, in their own right. And what we take from that and what we've gained from that is the most important part, I think. And, like, I've had a lot of suffering in my life, but the good that is to come outshadows that, outshines it, whatever I'm trying to say, like in tenfold. And I've not even experienced it yet, and I know that. Like, I've gotten snippets of how good life can be, and those snippets are enough to literally hold me over for the rest of my life. If my life is like this for the rest of my life, I can live it. And that's crazy coming from me. If you know me, we didn't think we were going to be at 18, let alone 22. I feel ancient. I'm like, what is going on? I should be retired by now. You know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But that's where I was at. Like, I was unwell when I was young, and like my brain was not okay. And that's okay. Like, to learn that this is not all my fault and not all my doing, and I'm not just like crazy. Like, I'm unwell sometimes and I can get treated. Like, that's insane. Like, that's huge. You know what I mean? And now I'm not gonna, like, it hasn't gotten to that point in a very long time. And that's pretty amazing for me to be able to, like, to appreciate things and be a kind and caring person and believe that I am, and believe that I am worthy of love, focus on the next right thing, to be sober, to have friends, like all these things. It's insane. Like, I have not one but 2 jobs that I love and that I try to dedicate myself, maybe a little too much too, because I do work 7 days a week most of the time, but I love my life. I love my life as it is, as it will be, and as it was. And that is something that might change, you know, when I get pissed off in traffic later, but like, that's okay. For today, for right now, to have acceptance and peace over that is something I never thought I would have. I've said that a lot in this video, but it's true. I never thought I was gonna have any of this. Be able to make decisions for myself, be free in the world to do as I please, to not have the weight of my bad decisions and those consequences that came from those hanging over me now. I'm free at 22 years old, and all I prayed for was for friends and love and freedom. Freedom from that situation. Freedom from being the child and living the childhood that I had to, you know? And when you get it, it takes you a hell of a lot longer than you think to realize it. And a lot of things are going to be missed. A lot of opportunities, a lot of right time, wrong person. Or wrong person, right time. A lot of crappy jobs. A lot of situationships. A lot of failed friendships. You're going to have to fail to realize that this is not in any way as big of a deal as what I've lived through before. And I will live through this to fail again and to hopefully learn something. I am so proud when I accomplish things, and when I'm able to, you know, be right and like do something good and like be acknowledged. But life is not about acknowledgement from other people. It's about acknowledgement from you and whatever your conception of a higher power is. If you have one or not, it doesn't really matter. You're the center of your own universe. Megan tells me that constantly, and it's starting to stick. It's not narcissistic to think about yourself and to like hope for good things for yourself, and to have comfort in knowing that good things come to those who continue to think about doing the next right thing, performing acts of service, and continuing to be present in your life is so important. And valuing those around you is so important. Seriously, you never know how much time you have with someone. Like, let me tell you, the amount of people that are serving life in prison or gonna be in and out of jail or just unalive that I know that are my age from my hometown is like earth shattering at 22 years old. I could be so sad and negative and consumed by grief if I allowed it to. And I'm not saying don't feel your grief and don't feel your feelings, but sometimes you have to acknowledge all of the amazing things you have in life. And appreciate them. Because really, like, you get what you give. I do believe that. You really do. And even when it seems like you're giving and not getting, I promise you will. We always do. It's just really hard to believe that in the moment. And I have had so many of those moments, and I will have so many more. Like, I had one this morning, I had one yesterday, like, I had a full breakdown, you know, but like, those don't define you. I don't know. I'm just gonna go eat some food and see my friends and have fun today. That's what I'm gonna do. And everything is gonna be okay. Like, everything will be okay, girl. Girl, guy, they, whatever you prefer. So we say happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and you do you, girl. Thanks to everybody who's been watching. You guys are phenomenal. I love it. I love the attention. Honestly, keep it coming, please. So, shout out to all you guys. And if you made it through to the end of the video, I'm like honestly kind of surprised because I don't think it's gonna be that long, but kind of a little sus that you listened to all of it. Anyways, all right, I love you guys. Bye.